everybody. Welcome back to the Damn Yankees podcast produced by Seven Ashes Productions. It is Tuesday, April 2nd, and this is episode 42. My name is Megan. That is my brother Ryan, and down there is our baseball dummy Cliff.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. The Yankees are 5-0 to start the season.
Unfortunately, the Yankees' record would become 5 wins and 1 loss by the time this pod airs.
Yes, as of right now, because we have a game when you guys will have played a game when this is posted.
That's right. Yeah,
we are trying to get this done by so we can watch the start of it.
Yeah, it's good motivation to try to get done in an hour because the game is in an hour and 4 minutes. Or no, less than an hour. Oh, no. So
shouldn't make any jokes or say probably will happen.
What are you trying to do? 162-0 is in play. That's all I'll say.
Ryan already poked a baseball god.
We don't know what that.
No, nothing happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, we're not talking about.
We're
that.
The baseball gods have blessed us, and we are very grateful, and they're humble servants for allowing, for blessing the Yankees
to a 5-0
and bestowing upon them a great start to the season. Yeah, so that's all I'll say to the baseball gods is thank you.
Thank you so much. Included in that 5-0 start is a sweep of the Astros, a 4-game sweep of the Astros in Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. So, yeah, I think we're all pretty freaking excited to start the season. This Yankees team looks vastly different from last year, like totally.
Yes.
So, excuse me. Sorry, I did watch the John Boy video with Boone, the interview with Boone.
I didn't get to catch that one today. That obviously that was earlier today. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Did he mention me?
He went on a whole segment just all about you. Yeah, your best friends.
Sweet.
Obviously.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No,
he talked about his buddy Clifton.
Yeah, obviously. Well, no, what Boone did do is try to gaslight us again. So I don't know. Didn't want to start off negative, but like we've noticed a lot of differences, and we're going to go over that. And Boone has decided that no, these aren't. You're crazy. These aren't different. So one of the biggest things that we've noticed, like either game 2, game 3, is that the lineups are consistent. Batters 1 through 5, especially batters 1 through 4, absolutely pretty much the same. 5 and 6 may flip flop based on the handedness of the pitcher they are facing. But otherwise, this lineup is very consistent.
Kind of bounced between Stanton and Rizzo have bounced between. Clean up in 5th hole.
Yeah, so they've kind of flip-flopped, probably depending on just left-right matchup, and but otherwise, maybe the catcher position changes towards the bottom of the order and where they're.
And what was interesting is both of us were correct on our predictions about the catching position because while you were right that what's his name?
Wells.
Trevino, thank you. I kept wanting to say Verdugo, and
no, that's not right.
That's not right. Sorry, my cat just hit like a wire underneath.
Oh no!
Was playing with it, and I'm like, ugh.
Oh no! It's like,
no. Anyway, yes, our catcher, Trevino, that one, not Verdugo. He started the season. Starting the opening day catcher. But in the 5 games that we played so far, Wells has gotten 3 of the starts. So it is looking like Wells is the 60-40, is the 60 side of the 60-40 split in catching this year. That could change, obviously depending on how they're playing.
But I think that's the right decision is having Wells in more of the games. And I mean, he's younger.
Which makes sense. More often than not, we're going to be facing righties and Trevino's not very good against righties at the plate. So
So that's so overall those lineups have stayed pretty consistent. Something that happened a lot last year, where something we call punt lineups, basically meaning for our dummies that they basically don't care if they win or lose that game. They've won the series, so put up the lineup with a bunch of people to be resting.
We wouldn't have believed we would have already been up 2-0 against the Astros. So we're going to put all these guys in. And
yeah, in the very least on Sunday, they're putting in, their bench. They're getting people on the bench to start and not putting in the consistent lineup that we saw for 4 games in Houston. So that's another difference.
And it was I talked on during the game or during Boone had mentioned after the game Saturday or Friday that they might see the first John Birdie, who we traded for. Did we have him before our last podcast?
Yeah.
I don't know if we did.
No. He was traded like the day before opening day.
And so it was on Wednesday that we had gotten him. So that's an update is that John Birdie was traded to us from
the Marlins. Yeah, that was the
Marlins, and we sent in a 3-player trade. We sent Rortvet, which you predicted that a trade was coming with him.
There was no way they were carrying 3 catchers on their roster.
No, it would not have made sense.
Yeah.
So they sent him down over to Tampa.
Tampa
down to Tampa from them, but
I don't know who Tampa sent to the Marlins, but it was a 3-player trade, and we ended up getting Birdie, who's a backup for the infield. Basically, he can play second or third. Yeah,
or short.
Okay.
He's a contact guy. He's got a lot of speed. He actually led the league in stolen bases, I think, or he was in the top 3 in the NL a couple years ago. A little older, but still has a lot of speed, a lot of good base awareness.
Yeah.
Very good defender, which we got to see in a game later on. But so it was expected that he was going to start the 3rd game. I mean, part of that too is that Torres had in the 2nd game had taken a ball off his thumb in the game. He came out in the next inning to play, and then during a break when they were talking like a pitcher's
there was a mound visit, and he was just like, I gotta come out.
He called himself out, and they were showing videos of his hand just shaking.
It looked bad. Hit by a pitch right on your thumb, that doesn't feel good. Everybody thought he would be out the next day for sure.
So people were predicting that because he said Birdie was going to be in, that it was either going to be Oswaldo who was out, or who had just had a 4-hit game, and I think he had saved the game again with another game-tying hit during that one.
Waldo, 3 games in a row.
No, I don't think that was the 4-hit game. Was it Saturday that was a 4-hit game?
4-hit. I don't remember. I just know that 3 games in a row, Waldo tied the game. I think it might have been
Saturday was the 4-hit game, because that was the game he was supposed to be benched, and then he ended up staying on fire and having a really good game. But
it could be. So they kept Waldo in, and because he was hot, and
Torres decided that he was ready to go. So that's definitely something a big difference from last year.
One of the big things that Boone claimed on the podcast that was not true, that he believes in hot, and I think every single person, even like more casual fans, would know that no, he doesn't. Like, it was a very obvious thing last year that they wouldn't change their rest days for anything. Like, someone could go 5 for 5 with a grand slam and just have the best day ever, and if they're scheduled to be resting the next day, they would have been resting the next day. Even, I know it sounds silly, but even in April, like, they would still do it this early in the season. So, like, for him to claim that no, that's not a philosophy change was just a little like, stop lying.
I'm sure that it's like things, and we can get into this a little bit more in the next part, but I do think that it may not be as big of a difference as we would see it as. I mean, the lineup is completely different. That you can change things, but I don't understand why it has to be like there's nothing different than last year.
I mean,
it could just be like there's some small changes, but not as big as you think it is. Like, we're still our focus is to have the best lineup every single game. We felt like we were having the best lineups last year, and now our roster lineup is different.
We all know
we're doing the same thing, putting the best lineup out there. every day against the pitchers that we're facing.
Yeah,
boom, done.
Boom. We all know that we only had like one lefty at bat last year, and then that at bat got concussed in the middle of the year. So like we all know we were lacking the lefties in the lineup, which helps balance everything. And so if the reason that the lineups are more consistent is because we have a lot of lefties, and we have the ability to literally go left, right, left, right, left, right down the lineup.
Right.
Of course, that's the best matchup, and the philosophy is to always have the best matchup. And now we basically just have a consistent best matchup. That's fun. Like I get that, but it's like,
and I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure that's the case. Boone's a very smart person. He knows what he's doing. I also think like there is there is a little bit of a catch-22 with even what we're saying right now is like we're complaining about him being not having the consistent lineups last year, but also being consistent with his rest days. So which is it on our end? Is he consistent or inconsistent?
Well, he's consistent with rest days, and that resulted in, you looked this up before the podcast, 153
different unique lineups.
Like, that's
in 162 games. And to be fair, the two teams that almost won or did win 100 games last year in our division also had over 150 unique lineups. I'm curious of how much is
the Rays and
Orioles? Yeah.
Well, the Rays are always going to Ray, and the Yankees have always.
The Orioles also had a lot of people called up throughout the middle of the year. Like they had the young guys moving up and down. So I don't know exactly what causes those things. We had a lot more IL deals days than any of those other teams. Like we had like 600 and something days on the IL last year in total, and they had under 200.
I believe it. Wow.
There's a lot of different things. I'm sure that like some of our critiques of it are misunderstood on our end because we don't see the day-to-day stuff. But it could be where like there's no difference is a little silly.
Yeah, it's just
there is differences. And even like Michael Kay and the people like who are paid to do more journalism than we do see it too, because they've been talking about it every single day about how different the approaches are. The team, and this is something, did he talk about this, about working counts and stuff? Because this is definitely a difference from last year. Working counts, not playing everything for a home run.
I don't remember if they talked about it specifically, but yeah, that is definitely something I've seen that. Yeah, like.
And I thought that he had actually brought this up previously, like in interviews on the side about how they were going to big thing that, and I think this might have been something Dawson brought in, who's our new hitting coach, was working on working the count. I mean, I think no pitcher outside of Javier pitched outside of the finished 6 innings. I think one pitcher got into the 5th and then got removed, or into the 6th and got removed. And then all the other pitchers we faced are out between in the 3rd inning or out in the 5th, before the end of the 5th inning.
Yeah. We are best outing for anyone we faced in the first game, and he left after finishing 6 innings, but he was pretty dominant over those 6 innings. And he had
0 earned runs.
Yeah, 0 earned runs.
Like, it's not common for someone to be removed from a game before with 0 earned runs before the 7th inning.
Yeah, I mean, it is April, and maybe they wanted to take. They were super confident when they took him out that they were.
They posted.
They thought those bats were the same same bats from 2023, that they'd stay quiet, I guess, and
They said that put them to sleep.
Yeah,
and the Yankees responded back, "We're awake."
All 4 games, right? All 4 games were all comebacks.
We were losing at one point in every single game that we played.
So
I'm pretty sure.
Last year it felt like when we got, 3 runs.
When we got down, it was done.
3 runs or something, or down more than 1 run. It felt like, oh well, are we even going to score enough? Are we going to get on? Are we going to enough to even come back? 2 runs, 3 runs, 3 was out of reach last year, and this year, or at least so far.
And a big part of it is because we were trying to go for home runs every time, and I see there was somebody who posted that going for home runs isn't that bad because it's the most efficient way of scoring.
Home run.
Yeah, and it's like, well, no, in just one.
Nobody says no home run. Nobody says
No, yeah,
don't hit home runs.
And obviously we're gonna have home runs. I mean, when Judge catches back on, he's gonna get home runs. Like we're gonna have guys who can hit home runs. But the problem is where they're talking, like when we talk about a small ball's efficiency, is that small ball puts balls in play more often.
Yeah.
It like you get more chances to get people on base to make things happen. When you're trying to hit one 450 feet all the time, that's going to create a lot more swings and misses. That is inefficient. If you're only looking at how many runs you score compared to the hits, obviously that's a 1-to-1 thing. You get a hit, you get a run with a home run.
Perfect.
But how many swings and misses do you get
just to get
trying to get there?
One run? Yeah. And how many swings did you force batters in who that's not their play, that's not their playing style. You know, like we'll talk a little late. I don't know. Volpe's chain. We've talked about how batting swing, his batting path. His bat path has changed.
It's much more level this year.
Working on that. Yeah. Launch angle only is not his, go-to or whatever. Like that was basically what he was doing last year.
Only 3 swings and misses so far to start this season.
Yeah, his plate discipline.
He would have 3 swings and misses per at bat last year.
Yeah, the plate discipline has gone so much better. Probably. I mean, the pitchers are all pitching him outside the zone, breaking pitches, and all those kind of things.
Yeah, and a lot of things are going to change as the season goes on because they will figure out that he's not doing those. Yeah,
and that's baseball. They'll, pitchers will adjust. Volpe will need to adjust back, but it's so good to see that like that discipline is just 180, like completely different than last year. And the hits he went. What did he do? 4 for 4 the other day, just yesterday.
Yeah, he had 4 hits.
Yeah,
so, first career 4-hit game. I mean, that's runs, very impressive. Pushed a really good double.
Yeah.
Like one that shouldn't have been a double.
Right,
there
one that was a hustle
just
double.
Like yeah. And he hit it, and he was on it because he knew what he had to put into it to get a double, and he did it.
Yeah, he went. But yeah, the other one just like a scorching double, a normal. I hit the ball fucking well, double. Yeah. So it's good to see that Cabrera has apparently been watching Soto a lot. There's a video or a conversation that keeps going around. I haven't seen the video if it exists, but I guess he had to like end an interview or delay an interview with Meredith or somebody on Yes because he was like, can we do this in a minute? Because I want to go watch Soto in the batting cages. I want to watch what he's doing. So I'm sure, a lot of them want to just watch Soto, but it was like reported that Waldo is really, it looks maybe studying Soto and seeing what he can change or do differently. And,
that's good. I mean,
yeah.
Cabrera's been like, talking about people who changed. Cabrera seems a lot more consistent with his swings in the box as well. He had a 4-hit game. I don't remember which day we said it was, but
I think
it was either second or third game.
So yeah, Friday he went 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs.
Saturday,
March 29th. That was
Friday.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had an excellent game. I mean, it was kind of joked that as a righty, I put out there as a righty he's Jean Segura, and as a lefty he's Barry Bonds. I'm sure those things are going to level back out. And to my surprise, I actually looked up his splits among righties versus lefties. And unless I was looking at it wrong, I mean, they're pretty much the same, which when everybody's talking about, they all talk about how better of a lefty hitter he is than as a righty. But when I looked it up, there wasn't much difference.
The feeling around
as far as slash line goes.
Yankee fans are like, oh, keep him on the left. But yeah, when you looked up that, he's basically the same hitter on both sides, but I mean, the eye test, I've seen it too, where like, so I could have been doing something wrong when I was looking at it, but I mean, he definitely hits better as a lefty, and then that 4-hit game, he batted only lefty. Yes, and that was one thing that Boone talked about, and I guess they were saying like it's not a left-handed pitcher or a right-handed pitcher decision, like it's not cut and dry like that. They make the decision on, every pitcher. So he did go
Oh,
lefty.
yeah, I mean, there
lefty.
are some pitchers who are not good, like lefty pitchers who are not good against lefty batters.
Well, one of his good games, I don't know if maybe that was Saturday. He went lefty on lefty, and had a good game.
I mean, he's had a good game every day he's been out so far,
Yeah.
except for maybe against Arizona. I don't think he was did he play against Arizona? I thought he was in there.
Yes, he played. He went 1 for.
Megan's got all the stat sheets.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I used to do it when I was in like high school. It was like watch that every game I was able to watch. Could watch a lot less back then because MLB TV I don't think was a thing. But anyway, every game I used to watch, I used to record on the scorebook, and so I don't know.
You want to pick it back up again?
Yeah, I know. Opening day, I was just like, I want to do it, and then every game I was able to watch so far, I've just done it, and it's actually
cool.
kind of helpful right now. So I might keep doing it.
Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, I mean, Cabrera's like you said. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are hitting a lot better. I think a big part of that is, like you were saying, Soto is part of the organization. He has a very different philosophy than others do. His vision is insane. I mean, he's got such a good vision. Like, he'll see a ball go by, the umpire will call it a strike, and he'll look back and like, dude,
that's not right.
That's not right.
I saw like an article being shared. I don't know if it was like last year or years past that Soto admitted that something was a strike because he saw that the stitches of the baseball hit the strike zone. He saw the stitches of the baseball hit the strike zone.
His eyes are impressive. Like, just at how well he sees everything. He does a very good job of that. I mean, and he's confident as hell. I mean, I love the Soto shuffle so far.
Oh, it's so good. He doesn't care if he gets
when he
two
was with the
strikes on him.
Padres, I didn't. When he was with the Padres doing it against the Yankees, didn't enjoy it so much.
No one likes it when it's done against you. But when he's on your team and you get to watch that every day, his at bats are just beautiful. Like,
I mean, he's hitting over 500 right now. Like, or on base over 50% of the time, something like that.
I think they said when I was listening to the game yesterday, because he went, I think he went like 0 for 3, but he had 2 walks. Yeah, he had 2 walks, and his OPS went, OPS.
On base percentage.
Yeah, his
OBS.
on base percentage went down. OBP. Sorry, thank you. I was like, I'm not saying that right. His OBP went down because he had 2 walks. So, like, because all the other games he was, he was hitting like and he was getting walked, and so it was like, so it's just great to see him get on base.
Yeah, and it's different for the Yankees too to have a guy like that. Again, Yankees have always been swing for
the fences. Everybody
swing for the fences. That's it. And I think yes, getting home runs is big. Having those big hits where you get 3 runs, like we all love seeing a 3-run home run. But we've been winning these games with that small ball approach, and Soto can still hit a home run, but he will take his walks. He will take his
3-run home run
through the gap singles.
Yeah,
like when he needs to. Like he's just a hitter, and you can see it kind of working its way down. Dawson has also been a big part of that. Just talked about that earlier with how it changed Volpe, but obviously. Yeah, like they're working with the lineup.
3-run home runs also require people to get on base. Like, so you need people to get on base before somebody's going to hit that 3-run home run. We also scored in one of the games, the Friday game. We scored like 3 runs just off of like a walk, an infield single, and then something else that ended up in an error, and another error that Volpe ended up advancing 2 bases because of 2 throwing errors. So like, you just never know. You should force the Houston Astros, who are one of the best teams in baseball, force them to make plays, and even they make mistakes. So, so those are important things that we're missing last year for whatever reason. And I'm really glad to see. It's the reason. It's one of the bigger reasons why we're 5-0. Small ball plus home runs wins all the games.
Well, not everything has been absolutely amazing so far. I mean, 5-0 is pretty great. Hopefully when we're posting this, we're not eating our words after something terrible goes on.
5-1 is also not bad either. But
yeah, there's a few negative issues. I think one of the biggest ones while we are playing more small ball that's helping us win, we've also grounded into a lot of double plays, especially Judge and Verdugo. A lot of people are hating Verdugo online, and apparently people are hating on Judge now too. You were telling me beforehand. I didn't know about this.
I mean, there's just like one guy that everyone thought was like an April Fool's joke yesterday, but he really kind of doubled down, and someone was like, sit him. First he says like, sit Judge if he, this is ridiculous, and, he needs to be sat, and then maybe he'll, I don't know.
He needs to be sent down for get his
Well,
confidence
he
up
said
because
that, and then everyone started dragging him because what do you mean Aaron Judge needs to sit to figure himself out? I probably giving Aaron Judge more at bats is what's going
what he
to
needs.
figure himself out. But then his comment was, "Well, send him down if you have to, because maybe a couple of maybe a little time in the minors will do him good, and it'll get his confidence back." It was like, this has got to be an April Fool's joke.
It's such a joke. I mean, one, we've talked about this before. He doesn't have options to go sent down. It's not like you just send down a veteran. Once they sign a major league contract, like he's not in arbitration anymore. He's not owned by the team. You send him down. Like, let's forget the fact that it's Judge. You send a guy down who's on a major league contract, you DFA him.
Right.
Like, you have to DFA somebody who's signed to a major league contract.
Just DFA Judge, because after 16
DFA
at bats,
he'll decide to stay with the team.
Right.
No team is gonna. No 29 other teams is gonna try to pick up that contract. And
like, there's just such a stupid. I mean, you clearly don't know anything about baseball if you're saying send Aaron Judge down so that he can get his confidence back. He's had 21 at bats this year, and he's had 3 hits. 1 RBI.
I mean, it's not great, but at the same time, like this, I think from Yankees Twitter, Jacob PM at Jacob B Speaks, I think says it perfectly. If you think Judge should be benched or sent down to the minors because of a slow start to the season, I don't even know what to tell you. We're 5-0 and not depending entirely on Judge for the offense. That should be encouraging. And I think that's the biggest point here. Absolutely. Is one, it's baseball. There's 9 people in the lineup. Soto, Cabrera, Volpe, and yesterday Torres were all great. All of them. They've been really good throughout these first 5 games.
Yeah.
And if that means that Judge, Verdugo, our catchers, whoever else is not hitting entirely great, Rizzo, whatever, right now, those other guys are going to go cold. Soto is not going to hit 400 during the entire season.
Right. It's extremely rare for the entire lineup.
He's not probably going to hit 300 this season. He doesn't normally do that. He's usually about a 260, 270 hitter.
So
Soto is going to go cold. And if during that time, Judge is hitting 4 or 5 home runs during that time that Soto's cold, perfectly fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, Judge has carried our offense for how many seasons on his damn back? Let Judge figure himself out. I'm
sure Judge is enjoying the fact that they are 5-0 while he is still trying to get through his spring training rust.
Right, he
missed 2 weeks of spring training, and his spring training wasn't great. Like concern maybe for injury, like at the most that the injury's not fully healthy.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you can be concerned about is the only concern you could have for Aaron Judge is he nursing something? I don't know. We don't need to go as far as like injury because they didn't feel it was an injury in spring training, but like that'd be the only thing.
Right.
Is it still bothering him? And that's why maybe the rust can't be shaken off. But it also could just be like you said, he missed a bunch of spring training games, and so. I think,
and it's also it is a new spot in the lineup for him. He's used to batting second. He's used to I'm sure he's not used to the fact that there is some. Usually, he's the one who has to get the lineup going because our leadoff guys haven't always been great before.
I think he only played in 2 spring training games again, like between the week 10 days that he was shut down for at least in a lineup. I know he was still doing batting.
He wasn't in much after he came back.
I think it was tops 2 lineups before the regular season started again that he was back. He was in. So I know he was in the Saturday game that we went to go see. But I don't think he played Sunday during the split squad
games.
I don't remember though. Maybe he did play. He did Sunday in the last split squad. But regardless, 2 lineups at the end of the, so he's working through some stuff. It's literally been 5 games. He's had 21 at bats. I think I saw a lot of, I forgot that this happened. In 2022, he started off slow. And then he hit 62 home runs.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Last year, he started off hot, and I remember us talking about it last year of like, hey, last year he started off slow and hit 62 home runs. This year, like he was the first MLB pitcher to hit a home run last year.
First what?
First MLB batter to hit a home run last year. Sorry. Like he was the first home run of the season last year.
He had 5 more home runs than... Actually, Aaron Judge is not a pitcher.
Sorry.
No.
It's baseball. People are going to go on streak, and Judge is very streaky.
Sure, and I mean,
Judge is a guy who's going to put together 5 home runs in a series or in a week, and then the next week he's going to have 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, don't be concerned about Aaron Judge. I think that's silly. Yeah. Verdugo, maybe you have a little bit of...
there's a lot of people who... And one of them surprised me. There's a guy who's not happy with him that is... like he's supposed to be considered like the voice of reason, and he's already mad at Verdugo. It's like, I don't get that.
That seems odd. I mean, Verdugo is batting consistently like 7th in our lineup. 6
or 7th,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7th in our lineup.
I think he's 5th. No,
the first 2.
I think he's 5th today.
Okay. Oh, is he?
I think so.
Okay. In the first couple, he was 6 and 7.
Yeah, he's mostly been 6 and 7.
But who cares?
Bless you.
Yeah, bless you. I was saying, who cares about that? But like he's batting in the lower part of the lineup, so he's kind of buried down in there, which you could argue, that means he's up in key times when, batters ahead of him gotten on base.
Yeah, and he's grounded into 3 double plays, which is not great, but...
Yeah, not great. He's not the only one that's grounded into double plays, and I don't see why we would have the concern. He's also not whiffing a whole lot or anything. He's still making contact, which is the type of player that he is. I looked up... on Fangraphs, it says when the ball's a strike, when it's in the strike zone, and he swings, he makes contact 100% of the time. So
that's great.
Yeah, like that's not the only thing that matters, but he's making contact. So I think
and we talked about this too when we had gotten him. We had talked about what does he bring to the table. He is a guy who's not he doesn't often go deep into lineups because he's so good at making contact. He often puts it in play too early to get walks. And so, he's not going to strike out a lot. He's not going to walk a lot. But yeah, he's going to, and he's basically a version of Luis Arias that the Marlins have, just not as good at putting it in play as often as Arias is. I mean, Arias is ridiculous at finding holes in the field and hitting like 350.
I would also argue that our double plays might be up because we are putting in
more people on base.
Often. We have more people on base. This is no, you don't want this to happen, but the likelihood of it happening more often when you have runners on base most innings is it means it's higher. So it seems silly to be so angry about it. Verdugo will.
I don't understand why being angry at all at 5-0.
No, seems silly.
We're 5-0 with a lot of double plays. We're 5-0 with Judge being not 100% perfect. I'd be celebrating that. Hey, we grounded into like 7 double plays in the last 5 games, and it didn't prevent us from winning. Just imagine when we all figure it out to not always ground into double plays. Like, what could we be doing?
Yeah, and that's baseball. Verdugo doesn't have it right now. Something will click, and he could go on.
But what he does have is defense. And I saw someone else being mad that he wasn't making all these defense plays. The ones he wasn't making were they would be highlight reel gems.
Yeah,
it just was unfortunate that he had like 4 of them in one game.
Yeah, I do remember thinking or maybe you text me like one of these gems he's going to catch or something. And it's like he's going to get one of these. And I remember thinking, like, man, I hope so, because
and he did.
Yes.
One of them saved a game. And they were talking about the next day. I remember seeing it. I was like, oh, man, that was such a guarantee. Like, that was such a nice, not a guarantee, but I was like, man, that looks so easy. That was a nice, real nice catch. And they said that it was less than a 50% chance that ball could have gotten caught.
I think the expected batting average was like over 600. And like, so that should have been a hit, and he saved that. That was a great play.
Yeah.
I did when I saw that off the bat, I thought we were done. I thought the game was over.
And the thing that Verdugo has that like Luis Arias doesn't have is, one, he's a good defender. Luis Arias is a pretty bad defender. And two is he's got an energy that we need. To me, he reminds me a bit of a less powerful Nick Swisher. Like Nick Swisher could hit like 20, 30 home runs in a season. I think he ended up like hitting like 36 home runs in a season. Batted like 280, 290 or whatever. Maybe not 280, 290, but he hit quite a bit of home runs. He probably was like 230 in the batting average. But like he was like that guy who would like, he'd make a big catch and he'd be screaming and like,
he gets hyped. It's great to see.
Yeah.
I mean, he was,
and that's what we saw with Verdugo.
He was chirping at the Astros fans in one of the games, Friday or Thursday or Friday. He caught something and he turned around and was giving it to the Astros fans out in the Crawford boxes.
Because he's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
Well, he was calling Soto a dog, but they're all dogs now. Yeah, now they're all barking at each other on the bases.
I saw Torres got a hit and he's out there barking at the I think that's really good. That's something we didn't have. I just don't get the anger that Yankee fans get, especially from some people who consider themselves to be this rational fan. It's like, you're not a rational fan. You just think you are because you think differently than all the others.
Well, yeah. And I mean, we've said it before. I think most Yankee fans, fans in general, it's a fanatic, right? Like, it is irrational. So you have the urge to find especially Yankee fans find what's negative and just like, oh my God, if we don't fix this, we're not winning the World Series. And it's like, well, like, people win the World Series with
the Yankees piss me off enough that when they're doing good and not doing things to piss me off, I'm not going to be pissed off.
I'm not going to be mad at a 5-0 start. And, Soto being everything and more that we...
He may not be hitting 300 in grounding plays, but he is making really good catches. He is pumping up this team. He is being that guy that we need, like a Stroman, who is out there firing up his team. And the guys love it. It looks like Judge and Soto absolutely love being out there with Verdugo. I love seeing Judge and Soto doing the
how many
flexing thing to each other,
of, Judge, he's looking back at his infield wow, it's so nice to have people next to me that actually know how to that's their first position. They actually know how to field their position. And speaking of, Soto has made multiple amazing defensive plays. Was it the first game we were just reviewing this? He had an amazing play to save Clay Holmes' ass at the end of one of the games. He threw somebody out
Sounds
at
like
home.
You have some opinions on Clay Holmes.
I have some opinions a little bit about Clay Holmes. Saved him there. There was a sliding catch that Soto had. Actually, the play at home came 2 innings after they were going over the red light on Verdugo, red light on Aaron Judge for don't run on them, yellow light on Soto, depends on if you should run on him, and he was like, no, you don't run on me, and gunned him down.
Well, and apparently, I think was it Michael Kay or Sterling maybe who were talking about the Soto throw, and basically said that a lot of people do try to run on Soto because the word is out there that he is not good. And his normal average throwing velocity is not as high as others.
Right, no, it's not.
Judge could throw it 96 miles per hour. And I think he throws 87. And so a lot of people do try to run on him, and apparently he's got some of the most
outfield
batters
assists
thrown out, outfield assists, because so many people try to run on him.
Yeah, okay.
People don't run on Judge, so there's not that many opportunities.
Yeah,
for Judge to throw people out.
Yeah, I think I saw that his like average is like 90 miles an hour or something. And so yeah, I mean that's fair. It was just like it just thought it was hilarious that it was like yellow light, don't run on Soto. And he's like
Yeah,
don't run
try
on
me.
me.
Yeah, please run on me,
Please, I'll get you. So I'm just it's one basically I'm just saying that because it was presented to us as a sort of negative that
Yeah.
Soto yeah, you're getting a great generational batter in Soto.
But he's gonna suck on the defensive side.
He's lacking in defense. I'm like, I have not seen, and just like most, I mean, this was echoed across all Yankee Nation. Just we do not see any.
As he said, he
defensive.
couldn't have had a better start. It was the start that he wanted, for Soto. Real quick, I want to go into that Clay Thompson, or Clay Holmes. Sorry, Clay Holmes.
My feelings on Clay Holmes are basically just that I want to cover my eyes when he comes in to close. Now, I know that, like, overall, I wouldn't want to. I actually like Clay Holmes, like, overall. It's just, I just don't think he's my idea of a closer. He's a contact hitter. Contact pitcher. He's going to put it in play. I guess in the ninth inning when you're coming in a save situation as a closer, I don't like that runners are likely going to get on. He also walks batters that, he walks and then you get a hit and then, oh my God, we're in trouble. And now the runner, scoring run or the winning run is up at bat and so
and kind of part of what you're talking about too is that Clay Holmes got saved by John Birdie on a diving play at third base.
Yeah, that
Verdugo
diving play
with
at third
that
base,
diving catch that we talked about. Soto's throw out.
Yeah, so multiple two of the three outings that he had, it just felt like, oh my God, we're going to lose this game because Clay Holmes is giving up all these hits. So, that's the only thing I have against Clay Holmes, the closer.
My only retort with all of that is that, yes, there's videos of me complaining about Holmes all of last year. So I'm not trying to sound hypocritical here of saying that, I've always believed in Holmes. I'm sitting there hoping and praying just the same when he's out there. But one of the things that's what I think is something I think we can be very critical over him. Just as we are critical over Judge not hitting 500, just like Soto is to start the year, is he did make 3 saves. He's 3 for 3 for saves. He didn't blow a single one of those games. He actually in his career, this is something I just learned before we started. In his career, he has a better slash line against batters than Mariano Rivera.
That does not feel right.
And what I would also say about Clay Holmes, the closer as a contact first pitcher, is he had a strikeout first pitcher. And he gave up multiple home runs to Altuve.
This is true. Chapman definitely did that. So you're right. It's totally not perfect. All I know is that, I was spoiled with Mo coming in and feeling like it's just going to throw a cutter and break some bats and we're going to get out of this thing. No problem. And not fair to compare anybody to Mo. And I don't think I want Clay Holmes to be Mo, clear.
And he's not. And as much as even these slash lines that I'm seeing that they're comparing them, it is an interesting comparison. But to call Holmes and Mo, to try to use that to compare them.
Yeah, we're talking also
Mo had 60-some appearances. I don't think Clay's going to have 60-some appearances in save situations in any season
ever. He has
the
most saves ever.
Yeah.
So and right. I don't need him to be Mariano Rivera. I mean, Mariano Rivera is a once in a lifetime kind of pitcher, closer. It just. Yeah. And I mean, he's probably our best closer that we have. I mean,
I think he's the best relief pitcher we have on the team, period.
Yeah, I mean, Loaizaga, you could argue, but
Loaizaga is actually just as much of a contact guy, even though he's got high velocity. It's just it always surprises me when I remember that he's not a strikeout guy.
That's
even
true.
Though he can throw at 101 miles an hour.
That's true. He does feel more of like a strikeout guy when he's not. I mean, now they're trying to also turn Loaizaga into Mike King from last year. He's trying kind of a longer relief.
Give him some difference. I'm surprised they're not doing that more with Ian Hamilton. Ian Hamilton would be my choice.
He does seem
more
to be
Mike King because he has that ability to go deeper into his outing.
He
like,
seems to be
into,
more of the setup guy. Or that's how they're using him anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are just the few of our little gripes. The only other thing that's negative, I guess, DJ LeMahieu had another MRI on his foot. We finally got the results back, and they said that it was an undisplaced fracture in his right foot. So basically, just meaning he broke a bone in his foot, and it's not like it's in a line. It's aligned the way it should be. So, which helps healing. That it means it should be a much more straightforward healing. But I did hear that he had setbacks, but now he's back on track. Who knows? He's on the 10-day IL, which would mean he could come off in a couple of days, but he probably won't.
But he's not. I mean, they already said that it was 2 weeks for
recovery.
just the re-imaging before they start him on a recovery plan.
They're doing another imaging after a third set of images after this?
That's what they said on the last. When they said that he had a displaced fracture, they said they have to wait 2 weeks for another imaging. Scheduled imaging.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a fracture, every single bone, it doesn't matter how small it is, every single bone takes 4 to 6 weeks to heal. You can have,
I think they were saying they have to do that in 2 weeks to make sure that it was healing properly.
That makes sense. So, good news is though that we have a bit of bench depth now, and Waldo has been raking.
Yeah, Waldo's playing really well. Birdie, defensively, is playing really well. We haven't seen enough of him at bat to know.
No,
what he does there,
and I haven't seen him at all. I don't think at bat because I wasn't able to watch Saturday and Sunday, or I was able to watch the end of Sunday. But anyway, they're gonna
moving on. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
In the league that I think that we can talk about too as we wrap up here. It was only 3 days into the season, and we're already having some people with hurt feelings in
Mets world. Well, the Mets are just sad.
The Mets and
the Mets
and
are
the
sad
Rays
that
and the
suck.
Jays.
There's been some fights and beefs between the Mets and the Brewers and the Rays and the Jays. The Rays and the Jays is a little quicker. That was just like a shoving over at third base, like for no reason at all, really.
Yeah, and so basically what it looked like that happened with the Rays-Jays ones, because I think that one's quicker and easier to explain, is basically Genesis Cabrera, who's pitching for Toronto, gave up a double. I believe it was a double, maybe it was a triple. One of the guys is coming in, and there's an outfield throw coming in, and so Cabrera comes back to back up the throw at third. And Candelario is the one sliding in for the Rays.
Did he even slide? I think he just...
I thought he did.
Oh.
And he popped up real quick, and while he was popping up in... I can't remember even if he was...
He just kind of I
don't remember exactly how the play happened. Yeah, Cabrera bumps him as he goes by,
out.
and Candelario...
The guy was out.
He was out. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, the guy was out, and as he's walking back to the dugout, he kind of bumps him, and they jostle.
And then he gets in the face, and then Cabrera takes his arms and shoves his face back. So that one caused a little bit of a...
If this was 2003, it'd be like, oh, you have roid rage. What's going on? He was just out of nowhere. He just bumps him.
And from what I understand, he was just mad about the hit, I think, or
I guess maybe he just thought it was on purpose or something. Yeah, so they had and then benches cleared, and then nobody did anything about it.
That one was kind of your typical. Outside of it being weird of the way Cabrera did it, it was kind of your typical nothing happening. But the Mets and Brewers one was very interesting and weird. So basically, Rhys Hoskins, who's newly starting first baseman for the Brewers, he came from the Phillies, still kind of bringing that Philly mentality over to Milwaukee. He slides in, and he slides in late and hard-ish, but the rule is, because this used to be always the thing, it's actually popped up sometime, I think last year John Boy did something on it with a breakdown. He was going over games in the 60s, and he was going over a World Series game, and a guy came in and hard in on a guy, and the guy couldn't make the play to second, and there was no, just the difference there was it was
old mentality is
this batter is out at second, breaks up the double play, and the player just kind of was oh, okay, throws it back to the pitcher. and walks
the old
away.
mentality is to like basically kick the ball out of their hand or knock
kick
them
the ball
off
out of
course
hand,
so that they can't
break
get
their legs. I mean, obviously that stuff shouldn't be in the league
No one
anymore. I
wants
mean,
to
these
injure
players
anybody.
are paid so much money. They put in a lot of work to be at an elite level that, these players understand that with each other as players to not injure each other. But nothing Rhys Hoskins did really match that. He does slide late.
He slides
He
late,
does go
but
into
McNeil is sorry.
McNeil's already bobbling the ball.
Yeah, he's already he's lost the ball. He doesn't transfer it right. So as he's transferring it goes out into left field.
And I think that's part of the reason why Rhys Hoskins ends up on top of him is because typically what ends up happening when you get this play is the second baseman gets it, and as he's making the transfer, he's sliding
back behind
he's
the
sliding,
or
sliding to the side or sliding back and then making the throw.
Yeah.
He can't do that because he's looking over here.
Yeah.
And so, interesting enough, you should have, if you don't already watch them, if you watch our podcast but don't watch John Boy's podcast, he did a little bit of a breakdown of it. And I think it's interesting, where he goes into the detail about. I'm not saying you. I'm taking.
No, I didn't know. Cliff
listeners.
was trying. I didn't know what he was trying to say.
No, just the idea that someone is watching our podcast.
Our mom doesn't watch John.
Our
Boy.
mom doesn't watch John Boy.
Boom.
So this is Mom. You should go watch John Boy because you should watch his breakdown of this. I think he has a regular his 2-minute breakdown clips on his YouTube channel, and he does one in his podcast where he talks about it a little bit more in detail. But basically, McNeil and the rest of the Mets all throughout last year never tried to slide in during double play situations.
Yeah, which
they
is
all
just
break off. They slide early. It's I get that maybe Rhys Hoskins slide late, and that's maybe you feel like that's not okay, but you are allowed to slide
it's part of the
in
rules
to try to break up the play a little bit.
It's not
he's
contact.
Basically here you go, here's my teammate, go get him out too.
I'm picturing that picture of Volpe when he's trying to slide in, and it's he looks like he's Superman. What's the matter?
She looked
Kitty?
like she's gonna jump up the green screen.
She's fine. She's not gonna jump up the green screen. But he has his arms out, and people are oh my god, how silly! But he's literally trying to block the throw as he's sliding. That's what he's doing with his arms, and so you're taught to figure out a way to disrupt the throw legally.
Without hurting anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's
and that's all that he was doing.
McNeil was such a baby on that whole play. And he's he's in his face. That's wrong. You think that's right? Blah, blah,
you think
blah.
that's okay? And I love Rhys Hoskins yeah.
he's
fucking wah.
And then the Mets going.
Yeah, I think what the Mets did the next day was dirtier.
Yeah.
If you're upset about it, I can understand getting upset. Rhys Hoskins being a dick on the sideline, doing the fucking wah thing.
Yeah, sure.
And
if you want to throw at him, you throw at him the first at bat of the next game. You don't wait until
at his ass.
You don't wait until he has how many RBIs did he have? 3 or 4. He went off really that day, and then they throw at his head. Thankfully they missed. They threw at his head. Come on, it's that.
And it's
now,
very reminiscent of when Noah Syndergaard did the same thing to Chase Utley back a few years ago.
Yeah,
Chase Utley was also known for awful slides coming in, but he was really dirty when it came.
Yeah,
to it.
I think
he
it was also before before a lot of the rules
before
came
the
in.
rules changed.
Maybe he's why. No,
but he is the reason why those rules changed.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, in the World Series, he came in cleats up on somebody.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Machado.
Oh, I do remember that, and it was of course, now it's definitely going to be a rule because it was Machado. So.
I could be wrong that it was Machado, but he went in hard on somebody,
I feel like I remember
they were
that.
not happy.
But anyway, so
actually, I don't think it was because they played on the same team. They were both on the Dodgers at the time.
Oh,
so
I'm so
who did
old.
the Dodgers?
You say Chase Utley, and I'm
against the
Phillies.
Red Sox.
That's all.
It was against Bogarts or somebody.
Maybe it
I
was
don't know.
somebody
It was in the World
important.
Series with the Dodgers, and it might have been against Bogarts.
I remember it was somebody more important because it was like, oh, of course they're going to change the rule now. Because same like Buster Posey rule, like at home, like when I mean that was intense. That was a huge broken leg, but a badly broken
changed
leg,
his whole career.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, not advocating for season-ending kind of plays like that. But
That's what Hoskins was doing. I think it was a bad situation where Hoskins was trying to break up the play, and McNeil was focused on
he's fumbling
getting
the
ball.
And now his knee's in the way, and it could have been, and he could have,
it could have been bad, but it wasn't.
He could have, but it wasn't, and he overreacted.
And for the Mets waiting until his fourth at bat after he's already been kind of hitting them hard, they're about to lose their fourth straight game. It just looked like, to me, that's more dirty. Don't throw it at somebody's head. It's first pitch. Throw it. Like I said, lower back.
Yeah.
Their butt area. That's meaty part of your body.
Yeah,
get it done with. And
it's gross to throw at his head, period. And like it just do better, Mets. Anyway, you want to go? Yeah, last year you would typically do your bottom 5, top 10.
Yes.
Want to run through those quickly? First pitch is happening right now.
Yes, we're gonna have to start it on delay and fast forward through commercials, which I don't mind. Just I have to not look at Twitter during that period. Sorry, Cliff.
Oh, I forgot about the lead-in thing.
Oh, you can go ahead. I apologize.
Been waiting like all offseason.
Ryan's MLB Power Rankings.
I forgot all about this. So intense.
All right, so I'm going to start with the bottom 5. I'm going to run through them quickly. The Oakland Athletics, they're my number 30. They were the worst team last year. They're the worst team, I think, this year. I think there's going to be a couple teams that I'll talk about here in a second that might be even worse. But the Oakland Athletics did something that pissed me off today, and so now they are for sure my number 30 team. They sent down Ruiz.
I don't even know his name.
Mispronouncing his name. Ruiz, I think it's his name.
Ruiz.
Anyway, he was their starting center fielder last year. He had not great offense, but pretty good defensive stats. He stole a lot of bases. I think he led the American League in stolen bases with 62 stolen bases. Well, they sent him down after having a 400 start to the season in his first series. 400 he started off the season, and the Athletics were like, no, that's too good for us. We're trying to lose games.
We're trying to lose games. Stop that.
Get back down to AAA. And what doesn't make sense either is, like, one, he had a good start to this season. He was a league leader in steals last year. He was had a really good defensive metrics across the board. And so, yes, his offensive numbers weren't great last year, but sending him down isn't going to do anything. The reason he got called up from AAA in the first place because the guy was like a 320-something hitter. He actually hit really well in AAA, so it's not like there's anything for him to learn there.
Yeah, that's a shame.
The Athletics are a joke of an organization, and I really wish that MLB would force sell for horrible management of the team. Moving on, the Chicago White Sox, who I think will end up as the worst team in the league. They're bad. Their number one, their ace pitcher this year is a guy who should be their long relief pitcher, Garrett Crochet. He had not a great start to the season. I mean, he's a really good young guy, but he's kind of like a project, like Michael King project coming in.
Sure.
But he's their ace.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds
if you wanted to move him in,
yeah,
and he's your fifth guy, great, but he's your ace.
Yeah.
That's not good. They also have Diego Garcia as one of their starting pitchers.
Poor Davey.
Yeah. He actually had a really good sequence of pitches against somebody. Against Javier Baez, but it's really easy to have a good sequence of pitches against him. You got to throw the ball anywhere outside of the strike zone, and you'll strike him out.
He's a confidence booster, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicago White Sox, really bad team. They traded a lot of people. They don't have a lot of things going. Luis Robert is a very good player, but they're starting off the season winless, as well as the New York Mets, who we just talked about. Pretty much all my winless teams are in this bottom 5. We talked about the Mets and why they suck. I think they're going to end up more in the middle of the pack by the middle of the season. This is kind of a bad start for them, but they're not good. Colorado Rockies are another team that's really bad, and they don't have a lot of great people coming up the wire. They do have one kid who actually went to Spruce Creek High School, which is our rival school. Cliff School, whatever. He graduated from there. His name is Zach Veen. But outside of that, I don't think they have a lot of great guys coming up. And Chris Bryant is washed up veteran, basically playing there. Like, it's just not a good situation. So they're there. And then Miami Marlins have also made it into my bottom 5 because of how bad of a start they've had as well. They're also winless 0-4 as of today. So
what do you want to say?
Take a breath. You're just mad that we have fewer alumni in jail than you do.
So. Different charges for sure, but I doubt it.
Well, anyway, Miami Marlins are a bottom because they are winless. On the other hand, Detroit,
the Rockies also. Sorry, I don't know if you saw this, but the left fielder for the Rockies was making a routine play, like grounder into the right. Yeah, it would have been a single, but let it go all the way through, and it resulted. I hope it's an error, but I have no idea. But if it wasn't, it would have been an inside the park home run. Like it was. Ooh. Yeah, I
did not see that.
I
know that they're really bad.
Yeah, I think they were playing the Cubs.
They're really bad.
Yeah, it was like, woof. Like that's just like you just like let that just go all the way to the wall. So yeah, that's bad. Sorry.
So before I get into the top 10 real quick, there are a couple teams that I did not put in here who start off the season undefeated, but I also feel like they play bad teams, and that's why they're maybe undefeated. Is because I don't think their teams are all that great by the end of the year, so I don't think that they should be in the top 10 just yet. That is Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. Milwaukee played the Mets. I think
Pittsburgh does this every year.
Yeah, Pittsburgh does this every year, and I think Pittsburgh played they either played the White Sox or Rockies. They played a bad team. I mean, good for them. Good for them. Oh, they played Miami. I know because one of my friends went down to watch. He's a Pirates fan. He went down to watch it in Miami.
Gotcha.
But which Miami I don't think is as bad as like the Rockies or the White Sox being undefeated or winless, but they're still bad. So anyway, Pirates and them don't make it in. I think just every year I'm not willing to put them in my top 10 just because they started another year off undefeated. Detroit Tigers start off number 10. They do start off the year undefeated without or while having to deal with Javier Baez in their lineup. So I think this team, I don't think they're going to reach the levels that Baltimore did last year as far as a young team with some talent around. But I do think they have the potential for that. Skubal is one of my dark horses for Cy Young this year. And they have some other guys like Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, just some young guys who could really make a big step forward this season. So they're my number 10. San Diego Padres are at number 9. They actually started the season off in Korea against the Dodgers. They have a very good lineup. They're full of shortstops. Like the Padres are a very weird team. Literally every single position outside of catcher, I think all of them came up the pipeline as shortstops or came to the team as shortstops and had to move positions. So they're an interesting team there. At number 8, I still do have the Houston Astros as in the top 10, even though they got swept. They were in every single game that we played. The coach for the Astros claimed that it was a bit of unlucky things that happened. The fans are claiming that it was some signage in the outfield.
Yeah, their batter's eye is too busy is what they think it is. This just sounds like maybe they should have just opened the roof and Boone could have bitched about that and we could have been the unlucky ones, I guess. That's what it sounds like.
I remember them complaining about us about making excuses, and it's like, okay, you guys make just as much as excuses as we do.
You had 4 chances to win,
But the Astros as a team were in every single game. A couple things go a different way. They could be 3-1 against the Yankees rather than
They did throw
the other way
a
around.
no-hitter against the
and then
Blue Jays
they were
the
very
very
mad
next
about
day
being
after
swept.
we left. Yeah,
they scored 10 runs and pitched a no-hitter. Ronel Blanco, though, like that was his 8th start of his career, and he's like, what, 28 years old?
I didn't realize I didn't realize that. I knew that I heard that he made his MLB debut like kind of late and older. But yeah, I didn't realize it was only his 8th start.
So I think that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. I'm glad they didn't. Glad we didn't have to face him.
That
I guess.
I don't want to say this because I don't want it to be jinxed, but in that game, IKF came out to pitch.
Yes.
What team do you know that missed the playoffs last year that had to have IKF pitch and got no hit or like complete gamed against pitchers who should not be?
Oh yeah, I mean IKF pitched far more than he should, than I care to remember.
And how many pitchers last year did the Yankees face that were like guys with 5-run ERAs and go almost no hit against them?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that the Blue Jays are going to end up being under 500, but I'm also not saying that.
Yep.
So.
It's a terrible movie.
Terrible movie. Seattle Mariners, I have at number 7. They're actually my dark horse. Like, they're my pick to win the AL West this year. I think they have a sneaky good pitching rotation with Castillo and their young guy Gilbert at the top of their rotation. Obviously, J-Rod is the J-Rod show. I think they're going to be a team to watch this year. I don't think Houston's winning the division, whether it's Texas or Seattle. I just don't think they're the team that we are used to seeing. Their bullpen depth is not great.
I mean, they're having to plug in with starting pitching too. I mean, isn't it like 4 of their starting pitchers are?
I think it's 3, but yeah.
But I don't know a couple of them are not due back until like summer.
Later, I think the earliest one is Verlander, which is good for them. A couple of them not until summer. But yeah, I just think that this is not a year for Houston, and they also have nobody coming in. They have no top 100 people in the pipeline. So anyway, Arizona is my number 6, who we are facing right now. They've pitched very good, hit very good. Loris Gurriel was the NL Player of the Week. So they're my number 6. Texas Rangers, they're my number 5. Again, they played very well in their opening series. They looked. Also, did you see their rings? By the way.
Yes, I saw.
I thought that was cool as shit that the team that went 11-0 on the road.
Yeah.
Their teams spelled out road.
Yes, and they put it on their ring of their logo initial spells out road for their 11
Rays, 11 Orioles, Astros, Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty cool. I was like, man, that's team that goes on the road to win this World Series. They went undefeated on the road. Their team spelled out road.
Yeah.
So anyway, they are starting off the season very well for defending World Series champions. The Orioles are my number 4 team. They looked very good against who are they? They're playing
right now.
No, who were they playing? Were they playing?
The Orioles were playing the Angels because Trout hit a home run the first time, off Corbin Burns' first game, and I was like, "Oh, it sucks to be Corbin Burns." I mean, they still won.
Pitched really well.
The Angels angeled, right. And Trout did amazing.
Yeah, did you see that
the
Angels will eventually be on that bottom 5, I think. But did you see who the Angels had starting off 1 and 2?
No.
Game 1.
No.
Rendon.
Oh, geez.
And Aaron Hicks.
Oh, my God. Oh, right. The thing that went around, it was Maryland Sports or something on, started this whole, rumor thing. I fell for it. I was like, there's no way this is real. Like, I mean, maybe
yes.
it didn't, but it was like Hicks was bitching at Trout for
being lazy.
Yeah, for being lazy.
I was like,
about
this
something.
is like a porch thing.
There's no way.
This is like New York porch.
But like the Maryland sports blog isn't supposed to be a parody.
No.
They're just terrible, I guess. I don't know.
No, they're awful people.
It was like, wow, that's like, really, like how. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hicks
anyway, so they're my number 4.
Just...
They're going to be a good team. They have a solid lineup and roster pretty much through and through. Yankees, we talked a lot about them already, but they're my number 3. And then, of course, on the top 2, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves. I don't know what it's going to take to knock those 2 down, except for 80-win teams in the playoffs. So
yeah. The Braves and the Dodgers are, they're the best teams, really. I mean, as they're constructed, they are the scariest. So Mookie Betts is...
I think we missed something on the Rangers. Did we want to do it, or are we past too much time now?
I mean, we've passed time, and so we might as well just do it. Wyatt Langford, which I have such a hard time with this because Wyatt Langford is a Gator and is, in my heart, he was one of the biggest reasons why we made it to Omaha, and as far as we did, to the final game. He's amazing. He's such a good. He's already broken camp. First, he gets drafted after last year. After finishing with the Gators last year, and gets drafted and breaks spring training and makes it with the Rangers. So, I really want him to do well, but when the Yankees play him, I'm okay if he strikes out. So what was really cool, if I know how to actually work my computer, you'd think I would. I am a millennial. What was cool, I'm sharing on the screen. I hope that's okay, producer Cliff.
You did it.
I did it. He's like, so in the clip I'm about to show you, he the batter hits a routine grounder to short, and Langford almost scores from first. He almost goes first to home on a ground ball hit to the shortstop. And we don't need sound. Look at this. And then this is where he makes the mistake because the pitcher's paying attention, and boom.
Yeah,
but
can you rewind it back to that picture real quick?
Yeah, here, it's playing again. So goes to first, and he's already going to third. And now if he stops
already, that's a really cool
baseball
play.
IQ through the roof. And then if the pitcher is not paying attention perfectly.
Yeah, so the reason why he goes, he sees the catcher. You can see him looking. He sees the catcher's running up the sideline. And he's there at third, and there's nobody at home.
Yeah, and the first baseman's already decided he's probably not going to dance on third. Like, why would he, silly boy? And
yeah, look at him kind of go. But watch the pitcher. The pitcher is already, he's high IQ here because he's watching both, and he's like, hang on. He sees both the catcher and the player there, and he books it in, gets the out. I mean, that is heads up play on Langford, thinking wise of, hey, I think I can score here, but even more heads up on that pitcher to say, oh,
yeah,
my catcher's there, I need to sprint in.
This was very, very similar to a play during the regionals, I think, that Wyatt Langford did last year, and he steals second base, and then when somebody's not paying attention, stealing third base, and you watch out for him on the base paths. He is fast. He's
very
smart. He has huge power too. So I am so excited to see Wyatt Langford in MLB so fast. But I'm also a little scared. So hopefully the Yankees have his number, but nobody else. But yeah, I wanted to share that. And the other part of the Gator, I just wanted to. The Gators beat Mississippi State to beat the series 2-1. Both in the two games that they won were comeback fashion. Friday they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th to end up winning 7-6, I think. And then on Sunday, we won't mention Saturday. That wasn't great. But Sunday, Jack Caglione hit I think a 2-run home run to, I think it was a walk-off anyway. I didn't get to see it. I just saw there was a was walk-off home run, bottom of the ninth, and to beat Mississippi State. So SEC play has been great. Our midweek plays have been bad.
Gotcha.
We've lost FSU more times
go
than I'd like to
Gators.
admit, but yeah, go Gators. Anyway, sorry. There you go. That was my quick Gator
All right.
spiel.
Well, we'll try to wrap it up with some of the dummy questions sent in by LG this week.
Yes.
I already kind of answered them to her, but they're good questions that I think are relevant to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question is, what is the real difference between spring training and regular seasons besides saying it matters now? Like, besides just being like, just because it matters now, whatever, however you say it, like, what is really different about it? Like, why don't spring training games matter?
Well, spring training games matter to get you ready for the regular season. So in spring training, a lot of times what will happen is they're focusing on something specific that maybe they needed to work on last year. They're working out kinks. For pitchers, this is I need to build myself up and get ready so I don't hurt myself. Spring training really is kind of about the pitchers. They often say that batters, the fielders can all kind of get ready in 2 weeks. The pitchers are the ones that really need the month and a half to really build themselves up so that they can throw 100 pitches and not hurt themselves.
Yeah, and what I was explaining to her is that if you watch how pitchers' pitch counts go, they'll start at like 40 and build up until they're trying to hit 80
and
by the end. Their last pitching.
It's like, outing. And you always, it doesn't matter. Like Stroman's pitch count was already at 100, so he was able to build himself up, they have all this. I was listening to one of the broadcasts and I didn't realize how much. I know that they have equipment to look at spin rates and all these other, technical things with pitches, but they also have these like fatigue metrics that.
Yeah, they can see where their arm angle is and see if they're holding it in the right
so they
place,
can already,
if they're hitting stuff like in the right way, so they can tell when a player
intervene if they're starting to fatigue, and they can. So that's really cool. That's great for injuries. I mean, injuries have gone up amongst pitchers, but maybe there's just a balance to be found. So
the biggest difference is basically what I explained to her. It's basically like it's dress rehearsals. There's a bunch of scrimmages. Mm-hmm. Her biggest thing was that when you do a dress rehearsal for plays, there is nobody in the audience. These people, are they not trying to win games? Are they trying to win games? And I was like, in the spring training, it doesn't really matter what the score necessarily is. Obviously, pitchers don't want to be giving up earned runs, but a lot of times the batters are up there. I was like, they're just Stanton is out there working on a new batting stance. That's not something he's not going to drop a new batting stance in the middle of the season unless he's in the middle of a slump.
Right. This is the time to work all that out. Volpe has new path. He's working working on not swinging at pitching it out of the zone.
There was a pitcher with the Dodgers or hitter with the Dodgers last year who didn't take a single swing.
I remember.
He was only doing bullpen sessions, not taking a single swing in play
at all. And some pitchers
and that was some batters to be out for.
I'm going to, I'm going to look for the slider and I'm going to hit the sliders. Yeah. So that's what spring training's about, either working on what you want. Some of them maybe approach it like they would semi in the regular season, but regular season is locked in, ready to go. Every at bat.
We are trying to win every game. We're trying to get a hit. Yeah. So there's not really a necessarily not that nobody's not trying to win, but they're if games end in ties because the teams who cares? It's not.
Pitchers get taken out in the first inning because they're getting hit all over the place.
And that was one of the things I also mentioned. It's like Cole. I think that happened earlier in the season, early in spring training, obviously because he was shut down at one point. But he came out for one inning. They didn't like what they were seeing, so they took him out, brought him back in. You don't do that once you're out of a game. You're out of the game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of differences when it comes to spring training. One, there's rules differences of people allowing to come in and out of play, and
it's supposed to be fun.
Win-loss doesn't matter. You can tie all that stuff.
Did you catch Rizzo kind of mocking some of the more crazy fans that Aaron Judge wasn't in the lineup? So, oh my God, what am I going on? And he's like, why aren't you? I think it was he was like asking Aaron Judge, like, how do you feel that what are you going to say to your teammates when we lose the Grapefruit League, best record in the Grapefruit League or whatever? Like, he's like mocking, like nobody looks
Nobody
at
cares.
records for
Yeah.
spring training and actually like believes you can't
Anything.
get anything out of them, because half
Yeah.
the game too, especially half of spring training, more than half the game is played by your farm league,
minor league. Yeah.
So
and that's one of the things too, is that like you don't have a full sense of what's going on. And again, like I think you were saying it, pitchers are more of what it's for. You get a better idea of where pitchers are at.
Yeah, it's also about building
throughout spring
camaraderie.
training.
You have, you've got new players on the team. You
trying to figure out
go
new
to Lightning
lineups
games because we're
part of the reason why Boone has his lineup set the way it is because they had all spring training to kind of see what they wanted out of Torres or
the lineup,
DJ before he got injured, or Verdugo.
Shake out
Volpe,
who you want on leadoff, and so by the end of spring training, you usually end up using the lineups that you see in the regular
way you want it.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then one quick last question. I don't know if you wanted to put up the video about this or if you want just us to explain it. So the question is, why did he do that?
Why did he do that?
So who is he and what is that? This is not the same play, but he was Cabrera. He was playing third base. Altuve, Altuve was hitting. So the question really is, why did Cabrera do that, allow the ball to roll by him off the bunt down the line rather than attempt to throw out Altuve? We couldn't find that exact play, so this is a different one.
This is down first baseline instead of third baseline, but beautiful bunt. And then they go, oh man, and they let it roll foul. So she wants to know why they did that instead of just throwing it to first base. And
all right, I second the question.
You second? Why didn't they do that? Well, I mean, a lot of it is quick decision like a split decision making, basically. I mean, here the ball is
the pitcher, the batter is already pretty much go back right there. The batter is already closer to the bag than the pitcher is. I mean, if you did the triangle formula or whatever, he's closer. And he's faster. So he's getting to the bag before the pitcher can get there.
The first baseman's here. He needs to be able to field this, throw it to first, not hit the batter, make sure the pitcher, who's notoriously just not good at filding, gets first. And this is something they practice in spring training, actually, this whole thing right here. But they have to make a second decision. So there are way too many variables, basically. He could pick up the ball, throw it into right field. He could, hit the batter, and now he gets awarded second base. And if you just let it roll foul, which is what they're trying to do
here. They're saying, okay, there's no way we can throw you out. I mean, there's absolutely no way we can throw you out. So the pitcher and the first baseman there are letting it go by, hoping the ball rolls itself foul, and then he has to walk back and do it all over again. So that's the reason why. It's basically they have now decided.
It's just
basically right here. They decide that's not going to be result in an out. So
now, what I thought was funny during the
they look like tools.
No, they look like tools. Well, I guess not really, but like I guess you look.
The only way they get it out there is if the first baseman was quicker to getting the ball and trying to tag out Carlos that's not Santana, but
that
is. It is Santana.
That's the only.
Who is that right there?
I don't know who you're pointing to. First baseman or the one that's bent over, or the other one?
Yeah, the one that's bent over.
That's Sanchez.
Yeah.
I mean, what's he doing?
He's watching it.
He's watching.
So what else you
telekinetically trying to will the ball, like
maybe a little bit. Of course you are.
There are people who've gotten down on all fours and tried to blow the ball foul.
I think that's actually illegal. Like you're not allowed to have.
But they tried it.
What they're doing is watching it, because as soon as it goes over that line, they will pick it up, because if it
rolls back.
If it rolls back, it's fair.
Yeah,
as soon as it rolls foul, they've got to pick that up. Now it's a foul ball. Now it's a strike. This one has, was the first pitch of that at bat, it looks like. So they'd go back and be 0-1. He'd probably try it again. This is an excellent bunt by Santana. Thank you. I was like, who is this? Oh, thank you. Headline. This next one.
I only knew it was Sanchez because of the thing where it says Sanchez pitches 24.
Oh yeah. So that's why it's just it's a strategy. They're hoping it goes foul. Another thing I thought was what I was going to say was during the broadcast when this happened with Altuve and Waldo. I think it was Coney. I don't know. Somebody was like, that's just a testament to the grounds crew too, that they
leveled it out pretty well. I remember him saying
this is very level, and this is exactly what should happen, really. And so, but that is basically their only hope. They're going to get to first anyway. They don't want to make a mistake so that he gets to second. So their only hope is either tag him out, and if he's not in line with that, hope it goes foul.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, the game is 30 minutes in, and I put my phone on do not. I was sorry. On do not disturb.
Oh, you were going to start it from the beginning and be surprised, but you can.
Well, hopefully they have another comeback today. I don't know how much they're losing by, but
I won't tell
you. They would not, in fact, have another comeback that night.
Comeback kids. It's still
hopefully they make a comeback. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. I know we went another hour and a half today, but please subscribe to our YouTube or Spotify channels. Hit that like and follow button on those, as well as on our social media accounts at @DamnYanks_pod on Threads, Twitter, X, Instagram, and then on Facebook, it's @DamnYanksPod. So keep up to date with all that stuff. Again, Cliff posts a lot of stuff throughout the week, a lot of short clips on the social media accounts, and then, of course, the full-length videos are on whichever you listen to, YouTube or Spotify. But thanks again. We'll try to be shorter as the year goes on, but I think there was just a lot of talk about Yankees are winning. Hopefully winning, obviously 162-0 is not going to happen.
Nope, it sure won't.
That will never happen, but hopefully we do a lot more winning than losing this year, and we're a little less stressed all the time.
I'm excited to see it. So till next time.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And see ya.